Okay, welcome. I'd like to give all praises and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua B'Shem Kwadash. And I also like to say double honors to the elders apostle of Great Millstone, our mentors and teachers in the faith of Yahweh Yahushua. Also as well, I want to say shalom to the Akim sincerely pushing the name Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, thou art sincere. My name is Lamadia, and the premise of this video is gonna be pretty much staying strong in the spirit, because being in the faith, you're gonna undergo a lot of setbacks and a lot of distress, but you don't let that hinder you from the path you're going on. And Satan's whole goal is to make you fumble, but you cannot fumble the word. You have to, keep going, no matter what you come across or what you undergo. You just gotta stay strong. So now, we're looking at the book of Proverbs, the 24th chapter, and we're going to read at verse 16. And it says, "For a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief." Now, it said a just man shall fall 7 times. Now, 7 represents completion or perfection. Now, it doesn't mean that a person only allowed to make 7 mistakes. No, it just means completion. A person can make 1,000 mistakes. And if that person is sincere, the Lord, he's gonna lift them back up and put them back on the right path. That's why I said a just man falleth 7 times. But it says, and it rises up again. Because the Most High, seeing that person sincere, and the Most High will have mercy on that person in his error and bring him back on the right path. Whereas a person that's not sincere, the Lord will have him continue in the wrong path and not show him mercy. Because if that person don't care, why the hell should the Most High care? That's why I said, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. Now let's go from there to Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, the 25th chapter and the 13th verse. And it says, "Give me any plague but the plague of the heart." Now, what is a plague? A plague is something that's troublesome or distress. And it says, "Give me any plague, any troublesome or distress, but the plague of the heart." The heart is talking about the mind. Because what happened is guys fumble the word or the faith of the Most High, and they get disenchanted. And now they damage mentally and spiritually. And that open up they body for demons, evil spirits. Now that person becomes more bugged out than it was in a previous state. And you see that person the next time, that person standing next to a brick wall, having a full conversation with himself. That's where it says, "Give me any plague but the plague of the heart." Is the mind. Because once you lose that mental, spiritual discretion, you're vulnerable for spirits. And that's something you don't want. And it says, in any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. Yes, any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. So I'm gonna go back. It says, "Give me any plague but the plague of the heart." So, other words, there's nothing wrong with suffering, as long as you're not suffering mentally. because you're able to endure if your mental state is still there. And what keeps us going in the spirit is the faith we have in Yahweh Shem Yahushua and searching through the scriptures. Because, like I stated earlier, Satan wants you to fumble this word and put down your weapons, because the weapons that the Lord had given us to combat these spirits is the scriptures. And that's how we combat, these negative thoughts. But the moment you put your weapons down, that's when Satan gonna try to gut you in a gut with a sword and behead you. And as we get closer to the time, Satan's gonna come even harder. And pretty much he's not slap boxing with you no more. Now he's taking off the gloves. And he going for the stomach shots to make you fold and go on the ground, not get back up. But you gotta keep your weapons in your hand, which is the scriptures, so that don't happen. Okay, so let's go from there to Proverbs, the 18th chapter and 14th verse. And it says, the spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear. Now it says, spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity. Now, infirmities is a mental or physical weakness. Sustain means to strengthen. So the spirit of a man will strengthen his mental or physical weakness, as long as he have faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Because that's what hold us up and keep us standing. Because the moment you push that to the side, Satan's going to pretty much knock you out and drop you. So that's why it says the spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity. Because what keeps us going and back on the right path is the mercy of the Lord. Even though we make mistakes, because mistakes we're going to constantly make, but mistakes are meant to be corrected. And if you're sincere, the Lord will, bless you and increase your understanding and knowledge, as long as you're sincere. So I read one more time. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmities, but a wounded spirit who can bear. Now, a person's spirit that is wounded, and that's a person that already dropped the weapons and he no longer want to fight. He put down the scriptures and he's vulnerable for all of the attacks from Satan. You can't, once you give up the fight, you can't help that person. Even in in different war movies, a person might get injured or wounded and his partner may grab his arm and put it around his neck. But if that person's able to walk somewhat, you're able to take that wounded soldier and bring him to a safe zone or to save his life. But if both legs is gone and you got to carry his whole weight, now you're putting yourself in jeopardy for you to be in danger now. Because now you're carrying your weight and his weight, and the enemy was going to attack you now. Because now you become defenseless. That's what I say, a wounded spirit who can bear. The word bear means to carry, to lift up. You're able to lift somebody up as long as they able to, they willing, as long as they willing to continue on. But once a person not willing to continue on, There's nothing you can do for that person anymore. And that's pretty much it. You gotta leave them where they at. You gotta leave them where they stand. So let's go from there to Isaiah 64 and 6. But we all but we all as unclean thing, and all our and all our righteousness are as filthy rags. So in the eyes of the Lord, we all considered to be unclean. No matter how much we think we do, we're still unclean in the eyes of the Lord, because the amount of offense we committed and the judgment we shall receive is not comparable to the troubles and the distress we undergo. Because the offense that we committed, our true judgment, it was supposed to be death. But instead of receiving death, the Most High is putting us to hell, to pain, to suffering. So that way we still can live and still have hope, even though we deserve to be put to death. But it says, but we are all as unclean thing, and all our righteousness are as a filthy rag, and we do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities like the wind have taken us away. So, like I stated earlier, remain strong no matter what comes your way. We in this to the end, all the way to the death. And we sign pretty much a contract with the Lord. No matter what happens, man, you gotta keep going. No matter what happens. But with that, I'm gonna say Shalom, and again, all praises and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and I hope this video was edifying. Shalom.